I'd been to a lot of places in my life, but never, in my wildest dreams, did I see myself standing in front of a support group with people mistaking me for a counselor. I mean, sure, I was a psychology major, but I was still a student. I was used to studying theories and analyzing case studies, not being in the field dealing with real emotions. It all started as part of a class assignment. I was tasked with attending a local support group meeting to observe group dynamics. As I nervously walked into the bustling community center, I looked around, trying to figure out where to sit. A sweet-faced woman named Martha, with kind, understanding eyes, spotted me. She must have seen my confusion, because she rushed over, pulling me towards the front of the room. "You must be our new counselor," she said, her face lighting up with a relieved smile. I tried to correct her, but my voice faltered in the face of her excitement. I'm actually. But before I could finish my sentence, Martha had already moved on to introduce me to the group. Suddenly, I was standing in front of a room full of people, all expecting guidance from me, a 21-year-old psychology undergrad. The atmosphere was heavy with anticipation. I felt like a deer caught in headlights. But then, I remembered my professor's words, "Empathy is the foundation of counseling." So, swallowing my anxiety, I decided to listen, really listen. A man named Jack was the first to share his story. His voice trembled as he spoke about his struggle with addiction and how it was ruining his life. A knot formed in my throat as I listened to him, feeling the weight of his pain. I told him about cognitive behavioral therapy, the approach we'd recently studied in class, and how it could help him recognize triggers and develop coping mechanisms. Jack nodded, his eyes gleaming with a spark of hope. Sarah was next. She was a teenager struggling with anxiety and the pressures of school. My heart ached for her as she described feeling isolated from her peers. I shared some stress management techniques and recommended a few self-help books I had found helpful during my own high school years. Sarah gave me a small smile, whispering a quiet, "Thank you." As the session continued, I started to feel less like an imposter and more like a conduit, a vessel for my academic knowledge to reach people who could truly benefit from it. It wasn't perfect. I stumbled over words, second-guessed my advice, but I saw the way their faces changed, the way their shoulders relaxed as we spoke. They were listening to me, and somehow, I was helping them. Towards the end of the session, Martha stood up. "I've been attending these meetings for years," she said, her voice quivering with emotion. "But today, it felt different. You listened to us, not like a professional, but like someone who genuinely cared." Her words struck a chord, and I felt my eyes welling up with tears. I hadn't corrected Martha's mistake, but perhaps it wasn't a mistake after all. Leaving the community center that day, I felt a sense of fulfillment I hadn't experienced before. I had touched lives, not as a professional counselor but as a fellow human being. This unintended role made me realize that counseling was more than just theories and techniques. It was about connecting with people, about understanding their pain, and offering a hand when they felt lost. A neural narration story.